What's good, YouTube? It's your boy NYC Mike, man, and I'm back with another reaction video. And today we got Hafeez Boku. I don't know if I'm saying his last name right, but this is one of the hosts of the Roommates podcast. I am a very big fan of the Roommates podcast. I do agree with a lot of the things that Hafeez talks about on his podcast, as far as, you know, pertaining to men, of course. But in today's video, it seems that he's going a little viral because he had a debate with a guy named Coach Greg Adams. Without further ado, we're going to get straight into it. But I need y'all to do me a favor. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And most of all, turn on those post notifications so you get notified when I upload a new video. So without further ado, we're going to hop straight into it.
You got married?
No, and I I'll explain to you guys why. So I think, and I talked about this, I love the prenup conversation. I think it's important. There's three reasons why I didn't get a prenup. But the first reason is I actually believe prenups are good and bad. They're good because they protect you. They're bad because they don't protect you enough. What I personally believe is something which I did research about this called a marriage contract. You may not like this, but please give this to me. How many kids do you have?
3.
So let's say Allie married her man, and she said she wanted 3 kids, right? She gets married, she wants 3 kids. All of a sudden, prior to marriage, he agreed. She said, honey, I want 3 kids. Is that cool with you? He said, of course, baby. You want 3 kids? We're gonna have 3 kids. She's married. 5 years into it. Hey, when are we having our kid? Next year. When are we having our kid? Next year. It's year 8. He's like, I don't want any kids anymore. Should she stay in that marriage? He agreed, and she both agreed that we were gonna have 3 kids. That's why she married him. When it was time to have kids, he changed his mind. Well, I don't want kids anymore. Should she stay in that marriage? Let's go on the guy's side, because the red pill guys love when guys are being the victim. So you're a man, and in your marriage, you agreed that we're gonna have sex, let's say twice a week. That's
an agreement.
I'm just saying
that's a verbal contract.
We're agreeing that we get in at least twice a week. All of a sudden, she's like, I'm not in the mood anymore. She's like, oh, now I'm on my period.
That won't be all of a sudden. That'd be almost immediate. But go ahead.
Okay, and then months into it, right?
Yeah.
She says, well, I only want to have sex once every 6 months. Should he stay there? You both agreed initially, like, yo, we're gonna do this consistently, and now he's getting it. Should he stay there? So to me, what's very important about the marriage is that before you get into it, both of you guys need to agree upon everything. This is where I think the nuance in the evolution.
I do agree with that. I do agree that if you do get in a marriage with a woman, and vice versa, if you're a woman, you get into a marriage with a man, that y'all should make sure that y'all are on the same page with everything, not just with, you know, finances, but with everything. If there are any mishaps that come along the way, then, you know, y'all both got to take accountability for that, because y'all should have talked about that before y'all moved into the whole marriage thing. That's why I personally believe that when it comes to marriage, I don't hate on marriage, or I don't put marriage down. Now, me personally, I would love to get married. I ain't gonna lie to you. I would love to get married, but the thing is though, but I also know that a lot of men, especially in today's society, a lot of men look down on marriage and they see it as a trap. And I don't blame men for seeing it as a trap. You know, the statistics proving that, you know, there are 50 to like 60% divorces in America. You know what I'm saying? And this and that. So that's a lot. You feel me? That's a lot. But I also believe that you shouldn't hate on someone. You shouldn't hate on a guy that wants to get married, or you shouldn't make fun of him for wanting to get married. I don't see marriage as a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. I think it comes with many perks. Of course, it comes with its cons too. Nothing is perfect in life. I think that's what people have to understand. Nothing is perfect in life. Everything comes with its pros and cons. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, yeah, man. So I personally agree with that, what he just said. But let's see what else he has to say.
Agree on everything, so the woman's protected as well as the man is protected. And so to me, that's what me and my wife did. Before we got married, we talked about everything. Every single scenario, every single thing. Me, I'm not a money guy. I'm not motivated by money. So therefore, the money, like, I'm different. Everyone knows me. I'm not a money guy. So you can have all the money. I have my brain. I can start from ground zero. I'll build the money back up. I don't mind money. But to me, because it's another argument that we can talk about later, is that the kids is a whole different conversation. Kids are more wealth than money. So I was more obsessed with children than money, because end of the day, like I said, we can talk about that later. But so to me, in regards to losing money, I don't care about losing money. Take whatever you want. If worst case scenario things happen. But by having a marriage agreement, both of you guys understand what's expected of you. And if one person obviously breaks this agreement, both families know. So
so that kind of explains why he doesn't have a problem with not getting a prenup. It's because him personally, he doesn't care about money. You know, in his mind, you know, he could just rebuild all that wealth back up. This is how he looks at it. This is how Hafeez is looking at it. Now, if that's how he looks at it, then that's cool. I ain't gonna judge him for that. But that's interesting that he pointed that out, because I know that most dudes would disagree with him on that. You get what I'm saying? But let's see what else he has to say.
If she wants a certain amount of kids and I say I don't want it anymore, then her family knows, though, yo, Hafeez, you promised my daughter this, you didn't give it to her, so it makes sense that this marriage is no longer.
So is this, we all understand what a prenup is, all right? Like, it's signed, lawyer, date, bing, 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 bing. What is a marriage contract?
So
is it a verbal agreement? Is it a written agreement?
It can be.
You're saying that the families know each other?
Yeah,
what is that exactly?
It can be one of three things, right? It can be written between you and this individual, which is the least ideal. The second ideal is you can actually get a mediator or a legal arbiter to actually sign this for you. So therefore, like in the worst case scenario, if you go to court, this is now a legal document, right? So this is a legal document that can be able to be proved in court. But, you know, I know a lot of the red pill guys don't like the idea of marriage being controlled by the state. And if you look at a lot of traditional Eastern societies, marriage is really agreement between families. So to me, I think it's really about the families agreeing to this and the families being aware of expectations on both sides. So therefore, there's family accountability. Because what's problem in the West is there's no accountability. Like you say, if the wife...
we agree mostly on all of these things. You understand what's going on.
That is true.
You're
That
talking
is
about
true.
These marriages and business contracts and family.
Yeah.
This is where we agree.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we get into the loss into the romance and the feelings part of it. Which feelings do change, right? Your
100%.
feelings
Yeah,
changed
I
about
guess that's
me
what I'm
about a minute
saying.
ago.
Change.
People change, and thus,
Life changes, right?
Thus, though, the marriage contract doesn't change with the state. So you have to have those things understood and be in the proper
So
position.
okay, so let me just paint a picture here. So I was married very briefly, okay?
Divorced?
Divorced.
Uh-oh.
But I had a prenup. Yeah, but
All right.
the entire, without, you know, throwing myself under the bus here, she needed to expedite the marriage, you know what I'm saying, in order to...
Yeah, I got it.
So I said, I got you, baby. I love you, but you know, you're gonna have to sign and date here, and these are the expectations I've had if I do this for you. And it wasn't like a marriage built to last. It was a, you know, I'm here for a good time, not a long time type of situation. You could read between the lines here if you know what I'm saying, okay? But we're still cool. Shout out to you, Lauren, if you're watching. All good.
Wow.
But better believe that I had a prenup in that situation. So that's when I was in my early 30s. Now in my early 40s, life's even better. You know, money's good, career's good, still in shape, still what you would call sexual market value peak, all right? Shout out to Rolo, who basically did a whole calculation. I'm in the 0.13% of men. I'm like, okay, my ego's pretty big already. Boom, now I just got an inflated ego. Thanks, Rolo. Boom. So life's good. But I had a conversation with a girl recently who's what I would say... a very high value woman. Let's put it that way, okay? And we're saying, all right, if we ended up ever together, I would want a prenup. No. I'm not down for a prenup, is what she says. I said, well, I'm glad we're having this conversation right now before this thing gets off the ground a little bit. She's like, no. And she made some very valid points as to why she wouldn't want to sign a prenup. And I'm like, well, granted, I hear you, and emotional and all that kind of, you know, like, I love what you said about East and West. And I said, yeah, I'm going to need the prenup, baby girl. Like, sorry. Like, no matter whatever happens. So I'm trying to understand, like, the prenup, the marriage contract. At the end of the day, you'd be a fool as a successful guy to not establish some type of boundaries, some type of protection to say, hey, look, I hear you. You want to have this Fantasyland Cinderella Snow White vibe go down, right? Beauty and the Beast thing. But like, first marriage is almost 50% don't work. Yeah. Second marriage is, I think it's 60-something percent. Third marriage is 75%. Absolutely. So like the more and more you get married, you realize, all right, this whole thing. So I'm understanding the balance between the emotional component, because you're gonna have to have a, hey, I love you. I want to be with you forever, or else we wouldn't get married.
Yeah.
But just flip a coin whether this bad boy is gonna work out or not. At the same time, I hear what Hafeez is saying is like, everything can't be so robotic and so structured that you can't have any feelings and emotion. Yeah. So I'm trying to kind of grapple this.
Can I add something to this?
Go.
See, this is the thing that experience offers that sometimes experience doesn't. So he talked about experience and, you know, being open-minded to experiences, but a guy who has significant investment experiences has bumped their head as well. They wouldn't be called bitter. They would be called experience, right? But in this situation, what people don't know, what's behind that curtain when you go into court and the love is lost, and also the agreements aren't being upheld with the marriage contract, are piranhas, sharks. They typically come in the form of lawyers, judges, and people in that industry who make a lot of money. With that being said, once you go in that room, I'm one of the only people that have been in those rooms. It's a dark place. We call it the belly of the beast. And until you've been there, you really haven't experienced a marriage. Now, let me just say this. You mentioned the divorce. Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second.
Courtroom? You haven't been to marriage?
Let me explain why. Let me explain why. You mentioned the 50%, 63%, 70%. But do you know that these don't include the people who have already talked to divorce attorneys? See, many of those 50%, there's an additional percentage of people who haven't even talked to a lawyer, or I'm sorry, that have talked to a lawyer. And they've gone, okay, I'll stay, baby. It's cheaper to keep her. Happy wife, happy life. I'll just accept what it is. I'll stay for the kids. I don't want to lose the house. So it's more than 50%. And I'm saying,
okay, I would be inclined to believe that as well. You get what I'm saying? You don't even gotta look up statistics on that. I know for a fact that is true. You get what I'm saying? I know for a fact that is true, what he just said. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, I agree with that.
Tack on a couple extra percentage
We need to tack on at least 25 extra percent, because there are some people who have revisited it, have visited it, and many people reconciled. So it's bigger than that, and when I add on those percentages, it adds some perspective. Oh, shit, there is more than 50%. These are 50% who legally got divorced. We're adding on the people who said, oh, shit, I'll just go on this thing.
What we call thinking about it.
Yeah, man, I'll think about it. Or the person brought it up. If you don't do this, I'm divorcing.
So if you like that clip, click right here to watch another.
So, basically, that's the end of the video. That was just a short clip I watched. Obviously, I'm not going to watch the whole podcast. It's just too long. You get what I'm saying? And with the type of equipment I have, I won't be able to, you know, upload the whole thing. If I was able to, then I would react to the whole podcast, but I'm just not going to do that. But I'm going to just get my final thoughts on how I feel about this. So basically, I agree with both Hafeez and Coach Greg Adams. You know what I'm saying? And basically, you know, I agree with Coach Greg Adams about the statistics of, you know, people getting divorced, and, you know, the more you continue to get married after, you know, the original first marriage, you know, the chances of you getting divorced again only increase. You get what I'm saying? So I do agree with that. But I also agree with Hafeez on the fact that, well, if this doesn't work out, then, you get what I'm saying? Like, everything is a risk. Everything is a risk. You feel me? Now, I'm not saying that if you do get married to a girl, you shouldn't have some way of protecting yourself if things were to potentially go bad. I'm not saying that. You feel me? I would actually agree that you should have some form of protection if things were to go bad. But at the same time, I agree with Hafeez that if you are with your significant other and y'all are planning on getting married, y'all should already have this. Y'all should have already had this discussion about the expectations that are, you know, expected when getting married, and, you know, etc. Like, you feel me? Y'all need to have this discussion. Like, y'all can't just go into the marriage and delusional about it, and then when problems start occurring, I mean, problems are going to occur regardless, but when unnecessary problems start occurring in the marriage, you can't then be surprised that, oh my gosh, what's happening now? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, that's the end of the video, man. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see y'all on the next video.